hand wheel. On the top, we have the bobbin winding stopper and bobbin winding spindle, the carry handle, the spool pin where we'll put our thread when we thread the machine, the stitch width dial to adjust the width of our stitches, the tension dial to fine-tune the look of our stitches, the bobbin winding tension disc, a metal threading guide, another metal guide, the take-up lever, which will be really important when we thread the machine. On the front, we have the reverse lever, the stitch length dial, and the stitch selector dial. Down by our needle, we have the built-in needle threader, the needle, the all-purpose foot, and behind the all-purpose foot we have the presser foot lifter, which raises and lowers our presser foot. When we remove the accessory tray, we expose the free arm of the machine, and when we open the door, we have accessories inside. In this pouch we have some essentials like needles, extra bobbins, a spool cap, and some additional presser feet, as well as a buttonhole foot. Let's take a look at some of those extra presser feet that come with our machine. In addition to the all-purpose foot that's already on your machine, you get the buttonhole foot for making buttonholes, the button sewing foot for sewing on buttons, and the zipper foot, used for inserting zippers into your projects, but it can also be used for piping. Now let's wind a bobbin. The first thing we need to do to wind a bobbin is take off the removable storage compartment and open this door. Here we'll find our bobbin case. Pull this little latch and remove the case. And retrieve your bobbin. This machine uses Class 15 transparent bobbins. If you want to purchase more bobbins for your machine, make sure you purchase Singer Class 15 transparent bobbins. To wind our bobbin, place a spool of thread onto the spool pin and cap it off with a spool cap. Bring the thread to metal guide number 1 and clip it in. Now I'm going to bring the thread down to number 2, the bobbin winding tension discs, and make sure the thread is snug in between those discs. Then I'm going to bring the thread over to number 3, which is our bobbin winding spindle. The bobbin doesn't have a designated top or bottom, so make sure you thread the thread in and out the top of the bobbin. Hold on to the thread tail and click the bobbin into place on the bobbin winding spindle. Make sure the bobbin is all the way on the spindle so that the thread doesn't accidentally wind around the spindle itself. Move the bobbin winding spindle over to the right, hold on to the thread tail, and press the foot control to begin winding. When the thread tail is buried, clip the tail flush with the top of the bobbin and continue winding until the bobbin is full or until you have enough thread for your project. When you're done winding your bobbin, move the bobbin winding spindle back to the left, remove the bobbin, and clip the thread. Now we're ready to insert it into the machine. Now place the bobbin into the bobbin case and pull the thread to make sure the bobbin is rotating in a clockwise motion. Place the thread into this groove and bring the thread under the metal plate. You will feel and hear it click into place. Now hold on to this latch on the front of the bobbin case and insert it, and you will feel it set into place. This finger will be pointed up towards the top of the machine. The first thing I'm going to do before threading the top of my machine is raise the presser foot. Next, turn the hand wheel towards you so that the needle is in the highest position. You will also notice that the take-up lever is clearly visible. If you've just wound a bobbin, the top of your machine probably looks like this. Remove the thread from the bobbin winding tension discs. The thread is already in metal guide number 1. Bring it around metal guide number 2 and bring it down number 3. Do a U-turn at number 4 and bring it up to the take-up lever and go from the right to the left and bring it back down. You'll see the thread go into the eye of the take-up lever. Bring the thread down to number 6 and slip it into the guide right above the needle. This machine has a built-in needle threader, so bring the thread over to the metal hook and push down on the built-in needle threader so that it encompasses the needle. Bring the thread in between the 2 prongs and hold on to the thread to give it a bit of tension and release the built-in needle threader. In the back, there will be a little loop. Pull onto that loop and your needle is threaded. So there's one last thing we need to do before we sew on the machine. To draw up the bobbin thread, hold on to the upper thread and turn the hand wheel towards you and make sure you lightly pull up on the upper thread tail. This way you'll be able to pull up a loop of the bobbin thread and place the threads under the presser foot towards the back of the machine. Close the door and put your removable storage compartment back on. Now we're ready to test sew a stitch. Before we do a test stitch out on our machine, make sure this machine is selected for a straight stitch. If it's not, turn your stitch selector dial so that the straight stitch icon is in line with the gray dot above. Make sure your stitch length dial is set between 2 and 3, which is a standard length for a straight stitch. And make sure your stitch width dial is set to 0. Now place your test piece of fabric under the presser foot, lower the presser foot, and press your foot control to begin sewing. When you're done sewing, turn the hand wheel towards you so that the needle is in the highest position and about to make its descent downward. Raise the presser foot and remove your work. Trim the thread. And here's our stitch. It looks good on the top and it looks good on the back, so it means our machine is threaded properly. If the stitches look good on top but have loops on the bottom or these little wavy zigzags, it means the upper thread isn't threaded properly. Rethread your machine and do another test sew. Now we're ready to sew a seam. The machine is already set for a straight stitch. I notice on the needle plate there are some lines. While the needle is in center position.
Wait, you haven't seen the best part yet. Here are some amazing offers and specials available for one time only. You can't afford to miss it.